15 Best Mouthwatering Moscow Mule Recipe Variations. Moscow Mule is an iconic cocktail that spawned different iterations in terms of the garnishes and the alcohol used to replace the original one, which is vodka. Check out the description box for a quick tutorial on how to make this delicious and refreshing beverage. Here are the best Moscow Mule recipe variations you should try. Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to Advanced Mixology for awesome cocktail recipes, fun facts about your favorite drinks, and bartending tips. Number 1. Jalapeno Moscow Mule. The Jalapeno Mule or Kicking Mule is an excellent choice to beat the heat or bring a bit of tropical warmth to your midwinter hideaway. This Moscow Mule variant adds the perfect hot-cool combination of mint and jalapeno to amplify the original recipe's refreshing qualities. Number 2. Strawberry Moscow Mule. A summertime treat mixed with alcohol. This Moscow Mule recipe variant uses sweet strawberries that set off the ginger beer's spiciness. If you want to add a complex touch, finish the drink off with a couple of fresh black pepper cranks. This adds a deep flavor that brings out the slight sweetness of the strawberries. Number 3. Pineapple Moscow Mule. Pineapple is the most popular tropical fruit because not only is it delicious, it's also healthy and versatile to use. The vodka, ginger beer, lime juice, and pineapple juice combination are refreshing and tastes incredible, especially during the summer. Number 4. Georgia Mule. The reason ginger beer works so well for the Moscow Mule is that it has a nice fiery kick that you just can't get with ginger ale, but sometimes even ginger beer isn't hot enough. When you find yourself longing for a southern-style combo, this peach and ginger enhanced Moscow Mule recipe is a perfect choice. Number 5. Holiday Mule. There's a middle ground for the holiday traditionalists among us that's so good it hardly feels like a compromise. Cranberry juice, rosemary, and ginger beer make a holiday spice that is more seasonally appropriate than you'd expect. Number 6. Skinny Mule. A Moscow Mule may be worth the calories, but sometimes we must give in to self-control. A low-sugar, low-calorie classic Moscow Mule recipe doesn't have to be the fantasy of your late-night cravings. Number 7. Pomegranate Mule. If the floral note of the hibiscus berry mule isn't your style, try this pomegranate Moscow Mule recipe variation instead. It's just as bold and red, but uses the tartness of pomegranate instead of floral hibiscus. Number 8. Mule Driver. This gingery cousin to the college classic screwdriver is enough to drive away every bad memory you have of waking up hungover on a friend's couch. Delicious and refreshing, you can have this orange and ginger beer combo Moscow Mule recipe any time of day. Number 9. Kentucky Bourbon Mule. Nothing makes the Moscow Mule a classic American darling than bourbon. Great bourbons are born in Kentucky and bred from the finest American corn. This Moscow Mule recipe uses good Kentucky bourbon that complements ginger beer with vanilla notes for an extra boozy kick. Number 10. Dark and Stormy. Another popular Moscow Mule recipe variation, Dark and Stormy, combines ginger beer with rum's tropical flavor. The rum adds a bit of sweetness to the cocktail and mellows out the bright flavors, opting for a darker finish. Number 11. Gin Moscow Mule. Vodka and gin are very similar, but juniper berries give gin its slightly floral flavor. Adding gin to a Moscow Mule recipe adds a subtle herbal floral note complemented by the ginger beer. Number 12. Moscow Mule Jello Shots. Jello Shots don't have to be the Kool-Aid flavored abominations of your younger years. This Moscow Mule recipe variation elevates the classic party Jello Shots without sacrificing the fun and alcoholic punch. Number 13. Mexican Tequila Mule. Much like the Kentucky Mule, this rendition of the Mexico Mule got its name from the region's native inebriant. As it turns out, tequila works quite nicely and puts a refreshing twist on the traditional Moscow Mule recipe. You can also switch the vodka for some Camarena family, Casamigos, Avian, or whatever tequila brand you prefer. Number 14. Blueberry Moscow Mule. This Moscow Mule recipe is a bit more complex since you have to prepare the blueberry syrup ahead of time. You need to put the blueberries and vodka in a blender and pour the mixture into a glass jar and place it in the refrigerator for at least 1 week. Once your blueberry syrup is ready, use a strainer and pour the mixture into a barrel-style copper mug. Number 15. Garden Mule. This jazzed-up version of the mule calls for vodka but also works well with gin or tequila. In addition to ginger beer and lime juice, this interpretation of the Moscow Mule recipe requires some flavor-enhancing accoutrements. We hope you enjoyed these mouthwatering Moscow Mule variations. You can also try Keto Moscow Mule if you're on a diet. Visit the full article for the complete recipe guide and let us know in the comments which Moscow Mule recipe is your favorite.